Hello, happy Saturday. Gosh, it's Saturday, isn't it? And welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If you haven't, my name is Deborah Carr and I write historical fiction in that name. I write contemporary romance series as Georgina Troy, and I've also written a few thrillers as Ella Drummond. I've written another small book in another name, but I'm not going to share that here, just because I didn't really do very much with it. So I thought today, so I only did a video 4 days ago on this channel, but that was because I was very late doing last week's video. So this week I have some exciting news. So I've got a lot happening today. So the exciting news first. So as those of you who've been here before and who follow my writing know, I have got a slightly different historical out this year. It's out on the 9th of October, called The Witching Hour, and it's 3 points of view. It's about a reluctant witch, her mother, and this rather gorgeous ex-privateer, a condemned man. It is set during, so it's a time slip. It is so dual timeline. It is set during the occupation of Jersey, but it's, I think, probably mostly set during the English Civil War, so 1640s, 1650s, but here in Jersey. I loved writing it. So I was a little bit cheeky, and when my editor, my main editor, she also is my publisher really, when she came back and with structural edits, and then I was then doing my line edits actually, and she was saying how much she enjoyed the book or whatever. I had already done an outline. I enjoyed writing a witchy book so much, and learning more about sort of this ancient craft, because I write about traditional witches, and just absolutely loved it so much that I had an idea for a second book. It doesn't follow on from the first, it's a standalone, but I wrote this outline and went back to it a few times, so developed it quite a lot. And I actually said to my publisher, when she said to me, you know, I've really enjoyed this, I actually said, oh, I'm so thrilled because I loved writing it. In fact, I loved writing it so much that I've actually come up with an idea for a second book, and I've written an outline for that if you'd like to see it. It was a bit cheeky because actually we're still doing edits for the first one. In fact, I've just received my proofs back for the first one, so I've got to get on and do those in a minute. But she said, yeah, sure, send me the outline if you like. Anyway, she came out and said, I love this book. She's got a few ideas for it that she wants to sort of change on my outline, that she'll send me in the next few days. But that's really exciting. So I'm hoping, and it looks like I will be hopefully contracted to write a second witchy book, and I could not be more excited. Oh, so excited. I've absolutely loved writing this book. It's slightly different for me because, of course, before I wrote about the First or the Second World War, and when it came to the Book Lovers Library, that was set in like late Victorian times from the 1880s. So this is actually quite different for me. I have done a dual timeline before. So The Poppy Field, my first book with HarperCollins, that was set in 1918 and 2018, about two nurses, and both obviously dealing with trauma, one in the First World War, one working in a trauma unit in Brighton, and it was how their lives changed because of it, and how they dealt with the traumas 100 years apart. And their connection came about because the one, she was basically overwhelmed by it all and needed time out, the girl from 2018, and she then went, her father said, right, if you're doing nothing, you can actually be useful for me. You can go over to France. I've got this rundown farmhouse and a few outbuildings and a bit of land there. You can go there, you can restore it, get it just good enough to sell. She does that. She obviously has to take on a builder who has his own issues because of damage. I think he's an ex-soldier, from what I can remember. You'd think I'd know. I wrote the book. But they get to know each other, and she discovers these letters from Alice, the nurse in the First World War, who was stationed fairly near to there and actually lived in the farmhouse. So that sort of tied together in that way. And I did love writing that, actually. The hard thing about writing about two different timelines is how you move from one to the other. So in this case, it's not about different people living in different timelines. It's about people traveling through time. So that was a new thing again. I love discovering new things. So I've really enjoyed that book. And of course, her mother in this book, Briar, is the reluctant witch, and her mother is a witch who can't understand why her daughter doesn't want to join the coven and actually embrace this craft that has been passed down to her. She already has powers. She just doesn't really realize it. She's never used them. She doesn't want to commit to it. But what happens sort of takes on a bit of an arc in her life, I guess. So yes, that's that book. Anyway, the second book, I'm very excited. So I was hoping to have a few months off this summer because I've got an awful lot going on family-wise. All good. But it looks like I will actually be starting writing my second witchy book quite soon. And I don't mind at all. I'm really excited. So that's really good. So yes, I've got my proofs for the Witching Hour. I've been working through those. You don't have as long with proofs, obviously, as you do with structural edits. I think generally I have about 4 to 5 weeks to do structural edits because that can be quite a big rewrite of big chunks of the book. And line and copy edits, probably a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. But for proofs, it's generally about, I think I've got 9 days to do these. It won't take me 9 days. I go through all the comments from the editor. And then once I've done that, I will then read through the whole book and see if there's anything at all. So it takes, a few days, but it doesn't take too long to do. And then, we're almost there with it, which is very exciting. So yes, that's my exciting news for that. So apart from that, yes, I've just come off a Zoom call for a meeting, which is another exciting project, but that's where in the future it's not something I can talk about yet. So there's a lot going on in my little world. My daughter and her partner are overstaying, which is very exciting. As those of you who've been watching know, my son is back living with me after 5 years living in Japan. That's very exciting. And today there is, Jersey is a small island, but an awful lot happens here. And there's something called Genuine Jersey. So that's obviously crafts made here. There, I think, let me see if we can see that up there. You see that picture there? That's from pottery picked up from the beach, little bits of red pottery made into a picture. That was from a local crafts person. There's also chocolate, Jersey made chocolate, which is delicious. I have had some before, of course I have. And various things like that, and produce, that sort of thing. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So I'll be doing that with the girls this afternoon. So yeah, very exciting. I love the summer. I say I love the summer. It's very drizzly today and a bit overcast, but I don't mind because on Monday, so it's Saturday today, on Monday, we are forecast to go to about 31 degrees. Although London, I believe, is around 34. It depends which app you look at. It tends to change. So we're going to have a really hot day. I don't like extreme heat. I really don't. So today I'm actually quite happy with this slightly drizzly thing. I do like the sunshine, but I don't like it too hot. So yes, so that's what I'm doing this afternoon, and then I will come back to, I'm going to do a bit more of my proofs now, go out, come back and do more proofs. Yes, so busy day today, as always. And I've got other family members. I've got another family member who lives in France. She's over for, I believe, 9 days. That's very exciting. So it's her birthday, and so we'll be celebrating that. Yes, summer's always a busy time here. I think because Jersey is a holiday island, so friends and family come over usually during the summer at some point, because why wouldn't you? So it's always quite busy, but it's good fun. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. And little Roo is not too well. Of course he isn't. Last week he'd damaged his dew claw and needed a small op. Today I think it's probably his medication for his arthritis on his hip. He's got arthritis on one leg, one of his back legs, and that was his problem the week before because he was limping and had to be knocked out for an x-ray. This week he was sick a few times early this morning and doesn't want his food. I'm not being funny. If you knew Roo, you know that's a big deal. Roo is always hungry. Roo is a Corgi cross schnauzer, and Roo can eat at any time and will continue to eat if you let him. And he has turned his nose up at his food this morning. Twice, actually. I tried twice. But that's fine. I think what it is the medication he was on was quite strong to help with his arthritis. So he's had to come off that for a couple of days. He's stopped being sick. And I think he's just probably feeling a little bit yuck. So I'm hoping he's fine over the next few days. Otherwise, we'll be back to the vets. I phoned them this morning. And literally, they almost laugh. You can hear the amusement in the voice of that. Hello. I said, oh, hi, it's Rudy Carr's mum, sort of thing. Owner mum, whatever. And she smiled and said, oh no, what's happened this time? It's embarrassing. My 3 dogs. My mum says my house, because they're all like around 12, well, 11 or 12, she says, your house is like a nursing home for dogs. And right now, in the last few months, it actually has been. So I'm hoping that passes quite soon. We can actually get back to some sort of semblance of time where I am not continuously at one vet's or the other with one dog or another. But we shall see. Anyway, I shall finish my now cold tea with my Liberation 80 mug. I do like this. And I shall do a few more of my proofs. So I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Please leave a comment below if you want to. Please do share this video with anyone if you want to. And do subscribe if you haven't done so before. Lovely to see you back here if you've been here before. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll chat to you soon.